don't like to talk much about my impression of action RPG, because we want to play more builds with this to get more deep understanding of the mechanic. But there's some stuff I can say about Last Epoch right now, without probably my in any time soon my point on this not gonna be changing. So the game is pretty mediocre. It have a good idea. It have some balanced builds. It have a variety of builds, which is like we all. I'm personally like an action RPG variety builds and ability to test all of those builds, and for those builds to be balanced, so one build wouldn't break the game completely. Like in Diablo, you have the mage class, for example, but there's all the time there's one build is just will be way above all other mage builds in terms of the skill distribution and paragon boards distribution. This one they achieve some kind of a balance here in Last Epoch. Still early for me to say, because we haven't saw like much of the builds here myself. But judging by all the skills variety, there will be like some different classes and subclasses that can utilize the skills a different way and achieve the same result. But what I didn't like, absolutely, I hate it. It was such a clown fiesta. It's a campaign in this game, and you can't even skip it. It's so bad. The developers didn't put anything, no souls, nothing into the game. It's like if you're reading through those dialogues, it's so like absolutely. It's absolutely so bad. Just can express my all the rage I was, all the bleeding, the blood from my eyes when I was reading all these dialogues. Hello, Necrosok, welcome. Just a couple of words about the game because we finished this build. And what else? Endgame. Endgame is definitely the crown jewel of this build. It's definitely better than Wolfson had. It's definitely better than Diablo had, like way better than Diablo had. They put a good work into the campaign, into that end game. Or at least I did have impression in the first couple of days playing through this. Right. So how the end game here works? You have 10 monoliths. You have 10 monoliths in End of Time. And every one of them have unique bosses. They also complete a monolith, getting your unique blessings, further improving your character, right? And it was so thrilling. And after those 10 monoliths, there was another 10 empowered monoliths, which I thought would be more unique bosses to fight. However, not. Empowered monolith is the same monolith like those. But when corruption monolith reached 100, they became empowered. To get 100 corruption, you need to go through the same monolith 25 times. So you basically need to climb the monolith from start to not even finishing the boss, but you need to find another boss like the Shade of Ouroboros, which is giving you like another like up to 15 jump into the same monoliths, and you need to do it 25 times. Basically 25 times by 15. You need to get like what 25 by 15. How much that's gonna be? Math. 25 by 15. Around 375 jump. Yeah, 375 jumps through the. It's on average. It could be more. Jumps through the monoliths, right? So the monolith levels. But what I mean by that, let me jump on a monolith areas here real fast. So this one we have corruption 12, and we jump it, meaning we increase it by 4 times, but we jump it like 57 times on echoes, 57 times. Yeah. Doing 57, meaning like restoring this echo. It's not like too long to restore the echo, also, but it is. Some of them can take up to like 5 minutes. Basically, what I'm saying is so much of grind And after like we finish with the 10 basic monoliths, so all these bosses, so arena bosses and stuff is just such a pointless grind, because whoever we're saying that the game is generous when it's coming to items, and it's very easy to target farm the items. It's absolutely not true. You can't target farm items. Some items like that Chronomancer Jura ring just drop in guarantee from it, and you can do it in lower levels, higher levels. You just speed run through dungeon and grab that item. However, in order to craft anything good out of these items, it's taken so much time to actually get a good item, right? We spent 3 days to try to get Cursed Bones, base item that we need to farm there with, to craft with. Crafting is another point of the game I'm gonna talk. I love it and I hate it at the same time. Probably more hating than love it. So we need to spend this tremendous amount of time. So out of all of this, you can't target specifically these Cursed Bones items as an item. You can't, you just can't. And we also need Exalted one with the tier 7 affixes here. Alright. So you have like all of this. Even you can target farm more relics where the obelisk. There are some of this. Some of those that giving you items, like the rare swords, can give you rare offhands or rare relics, by the way. It's still a very low chance to drop this one, so we need to roll it with good basic stats, like we have 57 increased curse damage over here, while a 63 is maximum, but it can roll like as low as 13 or 20, which is basically a trash item. And then after you roll this, you want, like I say, some purple affixes on it. By purple I mean, for us we want it to be damage over time. We want it to be necrotic damage. We want to be at specifically spell damage. While mana regeneration is also okay. And then like all other over here, we can want like necrotic penetration and necrotic resistance. And also we want, like you see, we forged potential 0 over here. And we didn't even like reach the tier 5 for those resistances over here, which is can further improve my item. So it's absolutely such a chore to craft and get your item. Yeah, it's bad because you need to run some maps with some content and you get burned at the same point. These games need more content, I'm really saying. Same maps over and over and over and over, but the problem is the green. The problem, like I say, those 10 obelisk, when we fighting those like 10 unique bosses, it was good. But the moment you need to run it again and again and again and again in order to grab them and get more items, it's just getting too much of a grind, too much. If they, like you say, Emilio, could say there was like more of the unique maps with unique bosses to fight, that's absolutely yes. That's how we see the end game. So there's like this global goal, not like leveling up for the sake of it. Anyway, the end game here I didn't enjoy that much. After like we finishes all the 10 monoliths, crafting system is a good crafting system, but not. It's so because you get in your item base, you have such a little chance to get the item base you really want. And the crafting system, when you basically have full affixes on the items and you can improve that item, you can target craft those affixes on items, looking good on a paper. But because how random it is, how random like its fortune potential is, so we have like, for example, on average like 40 something fortune potential per item, and you're improving the affix sometimes costs 1 fortune potential or 0 fortune potential if you're using Glyph of Hope, 25% chance to not using fortune potential, and sometimes like it just you level up your affix by 1. Tier 5 is the highest tier you can craft it manually. You level up by 1 and you lose half of your fortune potential, and you level up another level and you lose all the fortune potential, and you still need to reroll and level up other affixes, and you're like, oh my god, this item that you spent half a day getting, it just got bricked into 2 rolls of the forge. And it was like, yeah, sometimes you just taking like 20 rolls for a forge, you can't even run out of fortune potential. Like this items over here still have the fortune potential left after I basically improve everything I wanted out of here. So there is a lot of RNG involved in crafting, and it's making it slightly better than a crafting system in Path of Exile, slightly better than RNG, the same basically, but it's way more simplistic, right? This crafting system way more simplistic and easy to understand for normal people just going through it, compared to the one in Path of Exile. Definitely we just have like different mechanics and stuff. Way too many crafting mechanics. There's a lot of bad points and a lot of good points, so I probably skipped, but I'm so tired of this. Basically, my impression right now, the game is like really mediocre when it's come to everything, like animation, when it's come to like the characters design. Dude, like I so hated my character here. She's like looking so ugly. Good thing we have like full face Calumet over here right now, but all of her random poses, like doing like communicating with spirits and stuff, like I just hated it. She's like mentally unstable, and as a role-playing person, it's just like not connecting with me at all. Yeah, still, I still prefer to end quest Grim Dawn Masters if you're down once the campaign and ends. But yeah, Necros saying the game doesn't have campaign, right? It's have a good or supposed to be have a good end game up until you finish the 10 monoliths and you realize how actually it's not good. Yeah, it's never seen at the point of the end game hamster wheel. However, people wanted, so we get it. They have announced it, however, that they are working on expanding the endgame further. Also looking to add uber bosses to add the challenges to your build. So yes, this is a good about endgame, that you can you have some goal to it. It's not for me. It's also I don't enjoy the farming for the sake of farming, leveling up for the sake of leveling up, and so on, The point of the end game is having those like measure goals. Like you want to level it up, you want to farm, you want to craft some items in order to defeat the specific boss, right? And it's like being uber boss and super powerful boss, and it's just a real test for your build. This is what I want to see in end game. It's what I'm enjoying. That's kind of challenge. Right, and you can see crafted your build, like maybe this affix will be work better, maybe you need a more defensive affix over here instead of actually damage affix over here. Maybe you need to combine this legendary item, it's must-have, it's providing like your age in this boss fight. This kind of stuff I want to see in the end game. Yeah, and Greaves' campaign is bad, it's also still unfinished. The only thing that saves is the combat feeling good and the steady build progression. So, the combat's feeling good, you're right about that. But it's not as good as Diablo combat. Yeah, in short, you want some more challenge at first. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't even level up to 100 because I need to do the same stuff like for another 20 hours. More, and it's not appealing to me. Yeah. So the Diablo have a way better animation, a way better feeling about combat, But also Diablo, for whatever reason, I couldn't put myself, like I was talking about this today, but I couldn't put a finger on, in terms of variety of enemies, Diablo variety of enemies and Last Epoch variety of enemies, they not so different. They have a very limited pool of enemies in that game and that game. But farming and going through the same metaphorical goblin in Diablo, for whatever reason, felt so much boring than in this game, right? It's just like, it's mindless slaughter here, but in Diablo, it was so boring for whatever reason. And I can put a finger why this game is like feeling less boring than Diablo, when it's coming to slaying the same basically enemies, the same type of enemies going through the same maps. Maybe because we have like more density of enemies here compared to most of the Diablo maps. Maybe that's like was the reason. The density of enemies, which is very, very good in this game, like satisfyingly good. And they also making you like navigate in dungeons and all of those echoes way better than Diablo dungeons for sure, because like if you move in one direction, they put in the goals you're in the same direction you move in, right? In those echoes, and this is good. You don't need to backtrack a lot, like you would do like with Diablo or in some other games, like Wolfenstein, for example. So that's like a really good mechanic. Appreciate they done that way. Also, like dungeons itself, right? We talk about dungeon on a couple of occasions, even today. But I like how they done with what they did with the dungeon itself. So we have 3 dungeons here and arena. All of them have unique bosses. So it's additional 4 unique bosses for you to fight. And dungeons have all the 3 dungeons have like unique mechanics to them to go through the dungeon, and unique rewards. And unique mechanics like that you can easily utilize in Lightless Harbor. You can utilize your gold to roll for more items, or you can roll for items for more like unique items in oh my god, what it's called? Or the Chronomancer, like Jura dungeon, Chronomancer dungeon. It has the mechanic of forging unique item and exalted items into a legendary item, and you need a lot of green in order to get actually a good item out of that. First of all, you need to have the good amount of the legendary potential in the item, and then you need to be lucky enough to get a good exalted item, and then you need to lucky enough to combine them and get exactly what affixes you want from that. But this unique mechanic in a dungeon, it's serving its purpose, right? Not unlike Diablo dungeon, we have like 80 dungeons, and most people running only 2 of dungeons because how annoyingly a lot of time you're gonna spend on other dungeons without like any much of reward, or the same reward as you can spend on dungeons that last in 5 minutes. Necrosop also seemed in locking cosmetic behind a paywall is a mistake. As you pointed out, it's lead to your character looking bad all the time. Of course, Sandcrest Grim Dawn had the same issue. Grim Dawn transform solves it to a degree. You still look pretty ugly with the non-transmogrified gear. It's not about like looking ugly because of cosmetic. It's just like the character model itself are ugly. The model animation is like looking so bad. Like look at her now. Like what is she doing? Like, is it a heroic guy or girl that saved the world? She's plain crazy, like, yeah. But it's not only the paywall. They have like some free cosmetics that you can get like from watching me, right, and getting those drops. But they lock in cosmetics. They only like available in online play, right? You can use them here on offline. There is no cosmetics offline, and most people playing offline right now because online didn't work very well right now, and not working still. They have still problem with the servers. Speaking of which, yesterday I saw the tweet that saying the developers were asking Yeah, I think that's a small issue. If you played your normal mage, you wouldn't have like Twitchy problem issue. What do you mean normal mage? Well, I play in here like this is whole class like acolyte class, right? Will have the same animation. Whatever we're gonna be playing like necromancer or a lich or like warlock is gonna be having all this animation. And we didn't install any animation of other classes, but I expect him to be as bad as this as one. Yeah, mostly playing mages, mostly playing face tank. I don't adopt the idle animation that bad. It doesn't mean, well, could be, it could be not, right? But Diablo also have a problem with this. Let's be honest, Diablo has a problem with not animation, but the character models. Character model, I wasn't absolutely satisfied with the mage. How bad like your melee male mage was looking. It literally was some cross-dressing. They were trying to cross-dress your melee mage, and he was like skinny, and all these items available for him in cosmetics are actually created for the female mages. Like mostly of them were dresses. I was like, yeah, well, but I want to play this like heroic guy. Like the barbarian have the best model in Diablo for sure. Barbarian, it's decently bold. You know, that's how I wanted my every character look like, but I couldn't. So that's a problem. Not only this game have, I admit, admittedly. What else? Okay, so like message about servers. Yesterday there was a message on official Twitter about the developers were asking people don't play hardcore, because if you have play hardcore, you can have a problem with your softcore stashes, right? Please avoid playing hardcore. It can break your software stashes. It's definitely not a good thing. Yeah, and across a lot of games doing this. They make the character move too much as soon as the idle is simply not realistic, even with the confines of it being a game. Yeah, I agree about the cross-dressing Diablo 4 mages. It's a lore-friendly, so they live in the desert, if I recall. Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, okay, so to be honest, Path of Exile also have fixed models. Like I say, I prefer my game like when I can choose the gender for my character, and I can choose like if it's possible, I can choose the model for it, right? To be bold and dangerous most of the time. Also, I'm not very good like creating like actual character model myself, but any character should be bold. When we're not talking about females. Anyway, so we're gonna be playing more builds. We're gonna be playing more builds. We're gonna be, like I say, their warlock class was a little bit more too OP, at least from people were saying. So let's play less OP class and see how the game gonna be feeling. If you're gonna be having a same feeling, or if we have more annoying feeling about it. That's the question. Like I said, the game loop was enjoyable. The game loop was enjoyable, and for whatever reason, it was, despite Diablo doing everything better, animation, the skill usage, the skills CGI and stuff, this feeling slaying enemies in this game was more enjoyable than slaying them in Diablo. Granted, end game here better than Diablo. Crafting system actually. I would actually go and say that Diablo have a better crafting system, guys. You know what? The crafting system right now here is what they have in Diablo in a pre-release on a season 1, but you need to pay tremendous amount of gold to change one affix on your item, and you can brick your item also as easily as you can brick in this game. But now they did make it better, so we can actually not brick in your item as often. You have more variation, but you still need to farm as much for the item you need in Diablo, I guess, as much as you need for to find the base item in this game. Right? You need to still need to do as much more or less, more or less. But I would say the Diablo system right now is a little bit better. So Diablo crafting system, not actual game mechanic system, which is another thing about the game. A game mechanic here in terms of like explaining stuff, they're doing a good job explaining the stuff. Like Microsoft did mention it before the final release, and I do like how they do it. But they didn't done it to the very end. You know, like their explanations sometimes missing, sometimes you just like can understand how like what the skill is coming from. They just they database is just not incomplete yet, I would say. So like we found today a sword that giving you the flame whip ability, but it took me like so much time to find it what this flame whip is, because you can't go and check it out over here, because you need to if this flame whip something like from passive from your skills. You can do it, and because you need to respect the skills out of it. It was in a database, and I actually went to a third-party site to check it out what it is. Because of the campaign will be easy with any class as long as your build gears are somewhat reasonable. Somewhat surprised that you're going to play the future. Most of the commentary in the game has been negative, and you express a lot of annoyance. Because I want the game to be better. Like I said, the game loop, I do enjoy it. Way more than Diablo was, despite all this. I want it to be better, that's why I'm like trying to say this stuff could be better. This one they done worse than other game did, right? This stuff is actually get better, so like, you know, it's a habit I probably get it for Unicorn Syrup. Well, another stuff that I was complaining, right, how the skill works here, how the skill leveling works. You literally need to go through a campaign in order to get your skills to level 80 and level 70. I need to get to level 75 because level 20, I think it was level 20 was locked, hard locked before for level 75 for the skills. So it limited my ability to experiment with all the skills early on as much as I wanted to check out, like, because I especially when I started playing on hardcore, I was fearing that removing some skills is gonna make me more vulnerable to stuff. It just happened to Sakura. He tried to experiment with skills on the hardcore and got himself killed. Yeah. The strength of the game, in my opinion, has a depth, but not too much. The build system is easy to understand and flexible. Yes, okay, so there it is, what you're saying. It's easy to understand. A lot of stuff here is easy to understand, like a crafting system as well. So it's a big plus to more complex games. Even I would say it's easy to understand that even the Grim Dawn or Titan Quest. At some points, especially Titan Quest block mechanic, which is like not telling you explicitly what the block actually doing. Yeah, combat is good and fun to play. The downside is the campaign is bad. The end games for me too repetitive. It goes through almost all the end game in my opinion. And visually, your character is boring, and everyone playing the same base class looks the same. Yeah, well, you need to go through the base class for level 15 levels in order to get to your class you want to play after. But it's not big time, but it's still a couple of hours doing the same thing for all the classes if you want to replay the game in the future. So yeah, so far it is a mediocre, but we're waiting for future releases for making that. You know what? Like I did. How many times I repeated this myself? Like, it is the same as the end game I had in the Path of Exile. 2 years or 3 years ago when I played first time the Path of Exile, I didn't like end game. It was too much for me. Too much of grind. Nowadays, I actually enjoy the Path of Exile end game pretty much. pretty much. Like it's like one of this kind of end game, the grindy end game, but I actually enjoyed, and it's feeling good to play. So hopefully in more years, maybe not years, months, they're gonna be improving and again make it even better. Another thing about this game is, like we say, the campaign is bad, but the thing is about this campaign, they actually projected the campaign stuff on the end game, right? They follow in the same story, and it's just like also nonsense. And they shouldn't done it. They shouldn't project it. Whoever like wrote all of this dialogues for this game, whoever like wrote all of this story for the game, they should just fire the guy and get themselves proper writers and refresh the game is actually something interesting, something not only like there's a boss to fight in end game you're interested in, that actually something campaign related as well, story related, some interesting stuff, and maybe actually make the choices to matter in your dialogues, and choices matter in an end game, which is can lead to different boss fights and different results and stuff like that. It will be very cool. Ignoring the launch and stop saying 7 out of 10 for me. Based on my early access playthrough, I had like more like 8 out of 10. I expected more from the full release, and the campaign not even been completed at this point is the bad look. Same as the bugs has been around for months and years. I mean, I don't know what you're saying about campaign not being complete here, mate. If they want to complete the campaign in the same, if they want to move in the same direction they were moving the campaign, please no, I don't want to see campaign even longer with the same bullshit. They need completely rework it, make it skippable as well. Diablo done a good shit that they make the campaign skippable, right? Despite that the campaign in Diablo was good, but it also was kind of time consuming quite a bit. They done some bad decision when you need to run like from one point to another just to complete the quest, and that would take a lot of time just like moving through the map. So they make it skippable. They need to do something about this campaign to be skippable as well. Yeah, because it's just irritating. The kernel of the story is fine. The falls of the gods, the rise of the god emperor, and the time travel is fine. The God Emperor, but we still don't know who's the God Emperor. Following this stupid logic, I still don't know who's the God Emperor, and I was following all this dialogues. Who is like the God? My suspicious was that guy, that the champion of the dear God, the Harlot, who became the God Emperor after slaying some gods. But there is no real, no clear answer for that. Is it? Or I missed something unbelievable. Anyway, you're saying you're 7 out of 10. My point is like 6 out of 10 here. 6 out of 10. It was when we playing through the campaign, it was 5 out of 10. Because the gameplay was still enjoyable. But irritation with the skills, how I couldn't experiment, irritation with how slow it progress in your skills, and how the campaign shit, how bad it is, it was getting to me. When we get to end game, it's jumping to 7 out of 10. When we get to end game, I rated this game 7 out of 10. I just generally was enjoying that first monoliths, first 10 of monoliths, all of them. And then I realized, okay, so there is nothing after that, and we're still like a level 82 or something, or 80, and I just need to grind to get better item, because further down the line monsters actually getting more deadly. We just trying to level arena, endless arena, and we dying in level 90 arena, which is correspond to level 100 enemies or something. But there's enemies where just generally like one-shotting me. And we have a bug with floating potions. I couldn't get the potions to heal myself. But that's a different story. The potions itself, like I don't like how they giving you the potions or not giving you potions the moment you log in into a game, and you're starting with 0 potions all the time. So So that's another thing I don't like it. I think that you should start with the maximum amount of potion every time. So that's a short like impression of the game. So I don't know if they're gonna be put on YouTube, because I definitely gonna be changing this impression that I wanted this game to succeed. I wanted it to be better, and I think it will be better in the future. So I don't know if there's any point of this rambling or complaint I have right now for the future users. But this is how I'm feeling right now about game 6 out of 10. Yeah, hopefully it'll be better. Right, guys. About evening